Hey student, watch this video and learn 3 reading mistakes you probably make. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here with another English lesson for you. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another English lesson. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining. From Monday to Friday, I give all kinds of English lessons because I want to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. So consider subscribing because I have many interesting lessons for you guys. Anyways, let's dive into the content. 3 reading mistakes you make. Yes, guys, reading skills, they're important. We can't deny it. And if you think you're going to become a fluent speaker without doing any reading whatsoever, I'm sorry, but that's not really the case. You do need to improve your reading skills because improving your reading skills will definitely help you communicate more efficiently. Reading is by far one of the best ways for you to increase your vocabulary, improve your vocabulary, learn vocabulary in context, real situations, you really see the word being used. Learn grammatical structures, learn grammar passively, correct grammar. And so many other benefits. It'll help you become more efficient when describing events, describing things, explaining your point of view. So in general, during your English journey, reading will help. It's definitely a tool that I recommend you use wisely, okay? However, as with any other skill, we sometimes make mistakes, okay? When we're doing listening exercises or reading our vocabulary, in general, as a student, we all make mistakes. So I'm going to be talking about 3 very popular mistakes we have a tendency to make, and I include myself there, my friend. I'm still a student, forever a learner. And mistakes you should avoid, okay? Moving on. First one, you try to remember everything. I'm a machine, photographic memory. Well, not really, okay? Just because you don't remember all the information in a text or in a book or in an article doesn't mean you didn't understand. So if you spend too much time trying to understand every single word you read in a text, my God, it's like chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You're not going to find it, okay? So reading to improve your English is not about remembering all the information, remembering all the single words, but learning how to filter what is relevant and what is not. If we talk about articles on the internet, all too often, there are many parts in the article that are not relevant for you to understand the most important idea, the biggest message, the big picture of the text. Therefore, as you keep practicing your reading skills, you start to understand what is relevant and what is not. But how do you improve that? Well, by practicing your reading. But if you keep trying to understand all the information, I'm sorry, you will get lost. I've had experiences with many English students, many clients, many private clients, and many of them get stuck at a phrase or another because they don't understand it. And then they immediately relate that to their inability to understand articles in English or understand stories. So be careful with that. Okay, so reading will help you discern what information is important and what is not. Okay, so and consequently, this makes you a better English speaker because when we are in conversations with native speakers or even non-native speakers, not all the words they say are important for communication. Not all words they say will matter to help you understand them. Actually, even in the listening, we have this problem, not about remembering, but about understanding. So be careful about that, okay? Now, how do you, how do we avoid this mistake? This is first and foremost connected to mindset, okay? So you should change your mindset, the way you approach reading. It's not about remembering, it's about understanding what is important. So usually the title, the headline, the title of the article you're reading should give you a pretty good idea of what you should face or of what you should see throughout the text. So that's a start, okay? Now, the second thing you can do, which is the second mistake, is take notes. Many people don't take notes when they're reading. Now, if you are reading for, for pleasure, you're not really reading to improve your English skills, okay, got it. I have these moments too, and I don't take notes because it's just for pleasure. I read every morning. Personal development, it's really my time. I enjoy, and it's really a very special moment for me. So I don't take notes. Well, sometimes because I'm a nerd, so I really like to learn new words. Anyways, if English is not your first language, which I believe it's not, it'll be very difficult for you to remember all the information you read. So that's hard. It happens. Even in our own language, it is difficult to memorize, let alone English, second language. That's why if you are practicing to improve your reading skills, taking notes will matter, okay? They will help you practice your writing. Consequently, when you write, you are practicing your physical memory, which is really important. Today, because of technology, we type words, so we don't pay attention to the way we write them, so we don't work on our memory the same way we did in the past. Take notes, okay? When you learn, and this is important too. Now, when you practice taking notes, you are forced to practice writing concisely. What is concisely? Giving only the information that is important, necessary, and not using many words, okay? You don't use many words to do that. You are concise. You use a few words to explain important and necessary information. Now, how do you practice that? You practice by writing, and usually from reading experiences. So when you read something in English, you can practice your ability to explain things concisely. I have English students, private students, who have a very difficult time telling me things concisely. They go around and around and around and around, and they don't tell me what they need to tell. So how do you practice that? By writing, because then you will force yourself, you really focus on writing information concisely. And when you do that, when you learn to do that in writing, you consequently become a concise speaker as well. You work on this ability of explaining things in a practical way. That's what I do here on my channel, and I'm not bragging about myself telling you that, but I really focus on what I have to tell. I really focus on what I have to give. I don't beat about the bush. I don't go around, okay? I am concise. And I had a lot of practice to do that. When I was at Harvard, I received a lot of feedback from my teacher, my professor, Mr. Murphy, that I was not very concise, that I went around and around and around, and I never cut to the chase. So I learned my lesson, and it's important that you learn as well. And I did a lot of writing, a lot of reading and writing to be able to do that. One exercise that I did at Harvard that was really helpful was I had to read an article, and then I could write in one single paragraph the main ideas, the main key relevant ideas. So it was one paragraph to explain that, and one paragraph to describe my opinion. No more, no less. So in total, I had to write 2 paragraphs for a very long article and describe the main ideas, what I really understood, and in a second paragraph, my opinion, my personal opinion on the article I had read. So this helped me a lot. I did this exercise every week for almost 6 months. So this helped me a lot. So it involved writing, and consequently this helped me to improve my speaking because I'm much more concise nowadays, okay? And finally, you don't check vocabulary. Oh my god, and don't lie to teacher Pricks. You can lie to me, but you cannot lie to yourself. Checking vocabulary, my friends. And hey, by the way, if you could, if possible, hit the like button. I know many of you watch my channel and you don't hit the like button, but when you do, it really helps me, it helps the channel, it helps YouTube understand that this is a good lesson and that it will help other people, other English learners like you. And if you really like me, share. The best thing you can do for me tonight is share this lesson, spread the message. Many people make these mistakes, okay? Now, what do I mean by checking vocabulary? Many English learners fall into this trap. They find an article on the internet and then they read it. Awesome, excellent, good job. However, they fail to check vocabulary. They fail to look up words in the dictionary. They rely too much on context. Now, I do think context is very important. And if you understand context, congratulations, that's a start, that's a step. However, as time goes by, if you keep focusing on context, what the heck are you doing for your vocabulary? You're never improving vocabulary because you never take the time to actually learn vocabulary, because you rely too much on context comprehension when you shouldn't. There's a limit. I like balance. If you know me, I love talking about balance in life, in studying. But think about it. If you always read something and you're like, yeah, I got it. Okay, I understand. You know, the main idea is fine. I'm good. My reading skills are amazing. But you never grab a pencil or go online and check words, and check things and write down. I'm sorry, you're wasting time, Now, as I said, balance. You don't need to do this with every single word you read in a text, but this should be part of your reading routine. If you are not checking vocabulary, if every time you read, you focus on general understanding, like, okay, I understood the context, that's nice. You're not improving your vocabulary, you're wasting your time, you're missing a huge opportunity of improving your English vocabulary and consequently improving your speaking because you're learning new words. I do this check with my students. Whenever I give them texts to read, I ask them, did you read? Yes, teacher, I did. Did you learn new words? And then they say, no, I know all the words. And then I go on the text, I find a word and I ask, hey, what's this? They don't know. And then, slap on the face, I tell them, hey, yo, that was your homework. Reading is not just reading, but it's studying vocabulary. So if my students who have classes with me and they know how bossy I am and how strict I am, I know that many of you do that as well. It's natural, I understand. That's why I'm always pushing my students and pushing them for greatness so that they can improve. So as I always like to emphasize, you don't need to do that all the time, but it needs to be done, okay? Don't rely too much on context, because if you keep doing this, context will unfortunately let you down. Now, homework. I posted a link on my here in the descriptions of this video. Okay, so after the live video is over, come back and in the descriptions you will find a link. Did I post the link? Oh my god, I don't know if I posted a link. I did. I posted a link to a New York Times. It's not even an article, okay? The New York Times has a session called social cues. Social questions. Readers from all over the world send a question about a problem they had. And then a journalist, someone in the New York Times, answers their question or talks about their problem, gives them some advice, some recommendation. So I posted a link to one story that I want you to read, which is called, I Thought This Was an All-Inclusive Resort. So read about this story, read about the writer's recommendation, advice, and then come back here in the comments and write what you understood about it. However, you will follow my instructions. You will take notes, You will not try to understand every single word. You will focus on understanding general ideas. You will explain to me main ideas. You will take notes explaining the things you remember and understood. And you will also check the vocabulary. There are new words there. I'm sure you will find at least one new word there, okay? So that is a very good practice. If you enjoyed this lesson, put it into practice, into action, and do something about it. So this exercise is a very good exercise for you to do tonight or tomorrow or on the weekend, okay? Other than that, thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow for another English lesson. Bye-bye.